July 26, 1909. The morning sun cast long shadows across Durban's bustling harbor as passengers made their final preparations. They were about to board what many called Australia's Titanic, the SS Waratah. Built just 1 year earlier, this magnificent vessel was the Blue Anchor Line's crown jewel. 465 feet of steel and luxury, designed specifically for the lucrative Australia to South Africa colonial trade route. Her elegant dining rooms rivaled the finest hotels. Her first-class accommodations were the epitome of Edwardian sophistication. At the helm stood Captain Joshua Ilbery. 30 years at sea had earned him a reputation as one of the most experienced captains in the colonial service. This would be his final command before retirement. A routine voyage that should have been the perfect end to a distinguished career. As the gangway was raised, 312 souls were aboard. Passengers and crew all bound for Cape Town. Families returning home. Business travelers. Adventurers seeking their fortune in the colonies. The Waratah's engines roared to life. Steam billowed from her funnels as she pulled away from the dock. The voyage to Cape Town should have taken just 2 days. A journey the Waratah had completed many times before. But as the ship disappeared beyond the horizon, none of those waving goodbye knew they were witnessing history's greatest maritime mystery. The SS Waratah would never reach Cape Town. She simply vanished without a trace. But as we discussed, the MV Joyita's final voyage had already begun with troubling signs. Among the passengers was Claude Sawyer, a businessman returning home from Australia. From the moment they left Sydney, Sawyer was plagued by vivid, terrifying nightmares. Night after night he dreamed of the Joyita sinking beneath the waves. The dreams were so realistic, so terrifying, that he couldn't shake them during his waking hours. When the ship reached Durban, South Africa, Sawyer made a desperate decision. He abandoned his return ticket and refused to continue the voyage. Sawyer wasn't the only one who noticed something was wrong with the Joyita. Other passengers complained about the ship's violent, unnatural rolling motion. The vessel felt unstable, top-heavy, like it was fighting against the sea itself. Maritime experts later revealed the Joyita was poorly ballasted and fundamentally unseaworthy. The ship had a history of mechanical failures and near disasters that should have been warning signs. But despite these red flags, the Joyita was cleared to sail into the most dangerous waters on Earth. The last man to see the Waratah alive was Captain Bruce of the steamship clan McIntyre. July 27, 1909, 8:30 a.m. Bruce spotted the Waratah steaming south along the treacherous Natal coast. That single sighting would haunt him for the rest of his life. The Waratah was entering what sailors called the Devil's Triangle, the most dangerous waters off South Africa. Here the warm Agulhas current collides violently with the cold Antarctic waters. The result? Rogue waves that can tower over 100 feet high. That very night, a monster storm system was building over the exact route the Waratah had taken. By midnight, hurricane-force winds were tearing across the water at over 90 miles per hour. Ships hundreds of miles away reported mountainous seas that defied description. One captain later wrote, "The ocean had become a liquid hell." And then, complete silence from the Waratah. No distress signal, no radio contact, no SOS. 312 souls had simply vanished into the Devil's Triangle. What happened during those final hours would remain a mystery for over 7 decades. Within hours of the Waratah's failure to arrive in Cape Town, the British Board of Trade launched what would become the largest maritime search in history. Government officials ordered every available ship in the South African waters to abandon their routes and join the search. The Royal Navy deployed its most advanced warships. Commercial vessels were commandeered. Even passenger liners were diverted from their scheduled voyages. For weeks, the armada of search vessels combed over 14,000 square miles of treacherous ocean. Then came the first false hope. A cargo ship reported spotting wreckage floating near the Devil's Triangle. Search teams raced to the coordinates. They found nothing but driftwood from an unrelated shipwreck. More sightings followed. A lifeboat spotted drifting near Port Elizabeth. Personal belongings washing ashore near East London. Each discovery sparked renewed hope among the families of the 312 missing souls. But every piece of supposed evidence crumbled under investigation. The lifeboat belonged to another vessel. The belongings were unrelated. As months passed without answers, desperate families began fighting the shipping company in court for compensation. But how do you prove negligence when the ship has completely vanished? How do you assign blame when there are no witnesses? After 18 months of searching, the British Board of Trade reached their official conclusion. Insufficient evidence to determine the cause of the Waratah's disappearance. Case closed. For decades, the mystery of the Waratah haunted the maritime world. But one man refused to let the lost souls be forgotten. Marine researcher Emlyn Brown dedicated 15 years of his life to one impossible quest: finding Australia's Titanic. Year after year, Brown scoured the treacherous waters off the South African coast, each expedition ending in crushing disappointment. Then, in 1999, his sonar detected something massive lurking in the darkness, 8,200 feet below the surface. The images that emerged from the deep would finally solve a 73-year-old mystery. The wreck lay upside down, completely capsized. The Waratah had rolled over in that fateful storm, taking all 312 souls to the bottom. The evidence was undeniable. The ship's design had made her fatally top-heavy. A death trap, waiting for the perfect storm. Naval architects studied every detail of the wreckage. Their findings would change maritime safety forever. New international regulations were born from this tragedy. Stricter stability requirements, mandatory safety inspections, better emergency protocols. The Waratah's passengers hadn't died in vain. Their sacrifice would save countless future lives. Today, a memorial stands in their honor. 312 names carved in stone. Finally remembered. Finally at peace. The ocean had kept its secret for 73 years. But the truth, like the dead,